Well, that's not a bad title or a wrong enough title considering it's a full moon day tonight. Quite a lunatic move, quite a volatile, in fact, market situations. Gaining 522 points, 3.1% benchmark Nifty in today's trade. Good evening, traders. 15th of Feb 2022, 6:47 p.m. And we have one hell of a big bounce back. Um, I recall those terms like dead cat bounce. This is not even a cat. This is like a big cow. Nevertheless, jokes aside, what are we dealing with? We are dealing with a very sharp bounce back after a very sharp sell-off that we experienced yesterday. Um, I always keep on repeating this realization in my training programs and in my mentorship program that downtrending markets, bear markets are far more volatile than uptrending markets. It's the nature. And this is what you get as the market is still in a downtrend. It essentially gained back all of the losses that it experienced yesterday. Makes us look extremely trivial, which is true, but all the analysis of week closing near the lowest point of the day, retest of December lows, very likely, etc., seems very small, like a speck of dust in front of the market. But what are we dealing with? Let's look at the 75-minute time frame, should we? And it's closed the gap and it's given a nice sharp V recovery. Indicators, of course, will find themselves well stretched in the overbought territory in this kind of a move. A quick volume profile of this last leg down suggests that the point of control is close to that 17,349, 350 mark. That's exactly what it's dealing with here. In fact, if I drop a volume profile of this entire leg down, then we see quite a bit of. In fact, let me do one thing. Let me first take a look at this leg down, right? And that was around 17,539, so 17,550. And yes, so it stays more or less there. So 17,350 to 17,550, there's 200 points range, which is close to this particular gap down, is where the point of control lies. Um, if we draw a similar kind of a fib of the last sell off, which is this one, then the 78.6% lies 17,450, 17,465. So 350, 450, 550, we are at 360. So 100, 150, 200 points move from here on, and we might face a bit of resistances, if at all. Possibility is high because this move is literally, yeah, vertical. Um, Yes, a big move, but in terms of the parameters of the indicators, the 75-minute time frame is still in a downtrend. We need this moving averages to recover and behave. The daily time frame too is in a downtrend. So yes, we are impressed with the move, but that does not necessarily make us completely reverse our view or reverse our stance. Stance and strategy in this kind of volatile market should be stay quiet, keep a complete low profile, and even try to trade aggressively. The probability and the chances are quite high that you'll land up in losses rather than profits. It's very difficult to time this. Today's 3% move from the benchmark Nifty is more or less matched equally well by by the bank Nifty. The broader markets, the SCNX 500 is 2.8% up, and small cap, mid caps. Most of the sectoral indices perform pretty well except the pharma. Now, pharma is in a downtrend. It was up less than 1%. That's the only sectoral index which is up less than a percent. And the one that carried itself further up the best was the auto. In fact, auto stocks were up. Hero, Motoco, TVS, Asher, most of them were up since the morning. they were showing relative strength. And then there's PSU Bank. So the if you recall, I've been talking about the sectors like Bank Nifty, PSU Bank, private banks, and auto. I've marked them green. So it's good to see that the greens performed the most, and CNX Pharma is negative, healthcare is negative. Okay, there are a few greens here as well. Let's take a look at the metals because it did a nice bounce back and it's still okay. So pretty good bounce back. Congratulations. You've got us royally confused. That's okay. We have to deal with this. So, in terms of levels, I would say from here on, 350, 450, 550, yeah, those kind of levels up in this particular zone is what we have to deal with now. The weekly expiry is coming up day after tomorrow, so keep a close look at where the heavy call writings are happening. Trading View, as of now, does not allow me to show you option charts on the Indian equity markets, derivatives market. So I think once if we have that feature, it will be really good to do a quick check on that. But yes, you will definitely see some heavy call writings happening in one of these three strikes. Either it has already happened. I've not checked it yet. So the weekly expiry is to be kept in mind both for the Nifty and the Bank Nifty. That's where the heavy trades really happen. I'll quickly, before I wrap up tonight's video, I'll quickly do the same volume profile analysis for the Bank Nifty just to have an understanding of the levels for, oh, that's nice. It's got a very nice confluence at 38,500. And I need to reverse this. Okay, so 61 and 76.4, it's what it needs to deal with. I'll put them red so that it signifies resistance. So I think for the Bank Nifty from the current price, which is 38,200 all the way up towards 38,500, this is that 300 points range for the Bank Nifty, which should see some resistances as we approach the weekly derivatives expiry. Global markets, as we sign off, US markets not opened yet. The European markets are pretty much positive a percent. Asian markets were mixed. In fact, Kospi, Hang Seng were down close to a percent. Um, Crude is down 92.83. I've not checked the news. The recent Russia Ukraine fiasco that's going on, and gold, after giving a big move, is now slowing down. I think silver too has given a move. So it seems like some bit of recovery is across the board for equity markets, but it's too early to say whether this is a bottom or not. As traders, we have to deal with this. We have to digest this volatility. It comes with the package. And let's see how the weekly close turns out for our markets. I would keep a low profile considering yesterday and today's move. It's quite a surprise. The bounce back is not a surprise, but the extent of the bounce back is definitely a surprise. So I'll definitely plan to keep a very, very low profile and wait for the this volatility, this range expansion to die down, slow down before I take any fresh positions. I hope you've managed yourself well in this lunatic market conditions. Take care of yourselves and trade well, trade wise.